been a long time no see. We're in the old Dodge right now. Got the trailer hooked up out back. We're on our way to a killer Facebook Marketplace deal. No joke. Found a really nice guy, older gentleman that was selling a 4Runner. Found it on Craigslist. And body's beautiful. Body is absolutely beautiful, but the frame has a couple holes on it, and it's one of those things, like, most people are a little afraid to touch it, but you know, we offered him a good deal, given the condition, and we're gonna take it home and see what we can do. That's big crazy. Yeah, so we're loaded up. Really excited about this 4Runner right here. It's a 2000. The gentleman we bought it from was really nice. He was a really nice guy. He said it since 2006. Like, that's exactly what you want to hear. He said it since 2006. Ran like a top the whole time. Routine maintenance, but pretty typical for third gen 4Runners, fourth gen 4Runners. Unfortunately, a lot of Toyotas in general, this frame is pretty bad in a couple spots. And it's just one of those things that not everybody wants to put the time into it, and I think he was just ready to move on, and we're gonna get it in the shop and cut out all the old metal, and got a sheet metal waiting for it to put it in, and it's gonna come out really good. All right. Alright, so what you're seeing here is I'm unbolting the old side steps. I really didn't like how they were mounted to the frame. They were ugly, and I think it looks better without them. And yeah, you can see I'm pulling it off now. Glad to get that off. It did expose a little bit of rocker panel rust, but it's no big deal. What I'm showing you here is the initial just inspection of the rust on the frame, going from the driver's side front to that driver's side rear cross member. Showing the bottom side. This right here is the passenger side, going from the front to the back, just showing that it is not nearly as bad as the driver's side. This is me going over the frame initially with just a wire wheel to knock off all the scaled rust, really expose what needs to be cut out, and what kind of solid metal that we're working with. Here you can see that we dropped the gas tank, and Joey is knocking off all the scale rust and trying to get down just a good paintable metal for the skid plate. Trying to preserve what we can. Had some small holes, but nothing structural. Just some ugly that we have to knock off. Now Joey's going over the gas tank skid plate with some cheap Rust-Oleum rust converter paint. You're supposed to top coat this stuff with like some satin black or whatever you want, but in my experience, it does really good on its own for stuff like this, where you're not going to see it. It's underneath the vehicle. The paint is only there to protect the surface from rusting. All right, now we're getting serious. This was the point of no return, where we're going in with the sledge, we're going with a chisel, knocking out all the big scale, just exposing what we're really working with. Yeah, trying to get down to bare metal here. Yep, some more grinding here with what appears to be a flapper disc. Just finalizing getting all that paint off, as well as unfortunately, some rubber undercoating that was put on this at some point. So, gotta fight that, gotta get that off. Alright, this is a pretty good visual. What you're seeing now is all of the rust holes exposed now that the scale's off. We're down to bare metal, as much paint as we could get off of the surfaces that are going to need to be re-welded with new metal. Yeah, you can really see all the little holes that we're going to have to cut out, and about how far forward that we're going to have to cut as well. Here I'm just going over the rear control arm bracket and how the rust kind of is creeped into the top side of it, if that makes sense, where it is fitted to the bottom of the frame rail. Yeah, we're going to cut that off, put in new metal, and then re-weld on that control arm bracket. This is the passenger side, and we're looking at the control arm. Similar situation to the driver's side rear control arm. except it's just not as bad here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cut out in an L shape above the bracket, and then just a small plate on the bottom side. Here I'm showing you the bottom side, and you can see some light pitting. That's not necessarily holes all the way through. And what we do in this instance is mark them and just fill them in with a tack weld.
Just cut out the rear control arm bracket with the plasma torch. This is good. This metal is reusable. As you can see, as I was saying earlier, the bottom face of the actual frame rail, which is still welded in here, is all rotted out. So that's the reason we had to take this bracket out. But what this does is now we have easy access to not only weld in a new bottom piece, but we can also clean out all the scale that's built up inside the actual channel. Yeah.
All right, what you're seeing here is I'm going with the plasma cutter, and I'm just finalizing my cuts to prepare it to be ground down, kind of as a final finish before we weld to ensure we get good welds. Man, so this clip right here, this cut was done with a flat disc on an angle grinder. You can really see how much internal rust is in these sections. All right, so we spent the entire day cutting out all the rust. So we're starting back here by the rear control arm, or where the rear control arm bracket was. So we're cut back to good metal. Used the plasma torch right here, so you need to come back with a flapper disc and clean it up a little bit. But ended up having to go up the wall just a tiny bit. But we cut the bottom face of this section of the frame all the way to this cross member right here. And then on the other side of the cross member, good metal. And then cut all the way up to this front cross member. And we had some rot above this cross member. So I cut out this whole face right here, this bottom face. And what we're gonna do, here's the running plan on what we're gonna do for this back face right here, because it's kind of in a tricky spot. I'm going to weld from this side, so through the frame rail into the inside of the frame rail, and basically just butt up a new plate to this, and it should come out pretty good. And then for replacing the metal that was here on the bottom face, I'm just gonna lay a plate right across this, maybe grind this face down a little bit, because obviously the frame rail is kind of like, what would you say, welded to the top of the cross member. So maybe grind it down a little bit, lay a plate and weld it flat in like that. And then do a weld seam right here, lay a bead right here, connecting a flat plate here. Bit of a little mishap here, but no big deal. So yeah, that's on the book for tomorrow. Come back and show you the other side. All right, so I've gone in here with the wire wheel and the flapper disc as well. All the pitting and the holes are revealed to me now. This side is actually much better than the driver's side frame rail. However, what I'm going to do before going in and cutting is I'm going to take my soapstone and just basically make a chalk line of what I'm going to be cutting out, so I don't lose track and basically have to rediscover the rust holes when it's time to come in with the cut wheel. So I made about 8-inch section here. This is good, this is good. And then we get into, we have a similar situation going on as to the driver's side, going into the rear control arm bracket, where someone's been in here before. They welded in good steel, but they did not do a very good job of completing the job. They just threw tack welds and bonded over it. So the metal here is salvageable, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a quick line right on the tack welds that were underneath the Bondo, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with that cut wheel again, slice it right down the middle so it's easy to chip out the Bondo, residual Bondo, and then just for little pitted holes that you come across, just throw a circle down. All right, we're back with day 3. We already hit the ground running. I'm doing some cutting on this side. Joey, what are we doing on this side?
So if you take a look down here, we're basically just prepping this surface for welding. So I took the cup wire wheel and I just went ham on it. Now it's nice and smooth, and it could probably use a little more, honestly, but we can't put a flat disc on this one. We don't have the lock nut for it, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
We'll get it as clean as possible, start welding.
Yeah, looking good. And then over on this side, it's much better than the driver's side. I've gone ahead and cut out just this rectangle right here, cut out the rust, and then I had some small holes forming on the seam of the frame rail, and instead of actually cutting it out, I just kind of lined my flap disc right up, creating a slot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over all this with a flap disc, and I'm going to lay just a solid bead going up this groove that I created, and that will fix that perfectly. One small pinhole right here, I'm going to hit that with a flap disc, make it super clean, and then just lay a quick little tack right there to seal that up. And then coming back to the rear control arm bracket, this one is in much better shape than the driver's side. What I've done is I have marked it out with my soapstone, and I'm going to cut this piece out to about here, about right there, and then cut out the bottom face right here. And I'm going to make two small pieces, one kind of like a rectangle that's going to sneak behind the control arm. We're going to weld it in place to the control arm bracket, and then this piece will be pretty straightforward, and then we'll lay just a simple bead right there joining the two plates. Yeah, that's the extent of the rust on this side, and we'll be off to the races. All right, so about halfway through day 3, and the frame has all of the rot cut out. Everything is prepped for welding, and I've begun making templates for the new metal that we're gonna weld in. I'll show you what I'm up to. So I'm basically sleeving the entire frame where it needs new metal in cardboard pieces, and I'll show you. It looks kind of crazy at first, but I promise this is one of the best ways that I've found to do this if you're not going to buy the sleeves. So check it out. Oh, bear with me here. A plate for the back side. I'm going to weld it from inside the frame, so I had to cut this out, giving me easy access. Sleeve the bottom side, and again, I oversized it a little bit so I can lay a bead on top and then grind it down, as well as hammer it in place once it's tack welded in. So once it's in metal, it'll look a lot cleaner, but this is just for reference. Running a flat plate. And then, there you go. Got a small little plate for that gap. And we'll weld the control arm bracket back on right there. So I actually think back here is a really good visual of what we're doing. So you can tell, got the side piece right there, flat plate, boom. And then of course this is good. Maybe just throw some paint inside and we're on our way. So I'm setting up the welder now. We got this forward portion of the driver's side frame. We got this, the cardboard templates transferred and cut out over to metal. So we got the bottom piece hammered in to place. This is the, we got the bottom piece hammered into place. This is the inner plate backing up against the inner side frame rail. And then here's the outer side plate. It's gonna sleeve in like that. The plates look rough before welding. That's because I like to leave a bit of a lip to lay the bead on, and then once it's welded into the frame and the plates are welded together, I take the edge off of everything so it looks smooth. And then also got the back plate right there, and that's just gonna butt weld right up to the this forward bottom plate. All right, and then the back over here, I took the cardboard templates down
And I got Joey over here. Joey's transferring the cardboard templates onto the sheet metal over at the cutting station over here. Hitting everything with a paint marker. Alright, this is the front cross member welded in. We did, that's the outer plate, inner plate, bottom plate. That one was a little choppy, my overhead's rough. And then another bottom plate. This worked out really well. I left the lip on it and then laid the bead on the lip and then cut the lip off. Did that on both sides. That came out really nice. But you know, it's on there. It's on there really well. Yeah, moving on to this this next bottom plate. So stay tuned. Just finished up this side right here. Super clean. Had a little bit of burn through. We'll hit that back up. But big ass gap right here. So what are you gonna do? But super happy with how this came out. We'll clean it up. Unfortunately, I lost the rest of the footage from welding the 4Runner frame, which is why this video took a while to come out. But trust me, it came out great. So now it's a super solid little around town daily driver, and couldn't be happier with it. Still wanted to get this video out, so I decided to try voiceover for the first time on the channel. Please let me know what you think. I really appreciate all feedback down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Yeah, put some new tires on it. Here's a brake job. Rebuilt the rear drums on it. It sat for a little while, so a lot of this like service routine maintenance was overdue. So I didn't capture all that, but we did a lot of that. Did a full brake flush on it. Here's a beer I really liked. Yeah, there it is up on Jack's with the brake service done. And that's how she sits now. Great little truck. Thank you for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, like, subscribe. It really does help. I'm not a professional welder, but I'm really happy with how this project came out. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.